Welcome, divers. As divers, we constantly push ourselves to certain limits, whether physical or psychological. Even though we may romantically think otherwise, water is not our natural element, and we are not born to dive. This new element that we like to explore will not change to adapt to us and our needs. To dive, to explore, and for someone to find our place in this world, we must cope with and adapt to this element. These adaptations allow us to survive during the approximately 45 minutes of our underwater freedom. We have learned how to adapt to at least the most common situations, and at least to a basic level. But what happens during these adaptations? What is the cost of coping with water and its characteristics? Today's book review is a dive into one of the less explored and lesser known sites we can explore, our brain.
In his book, Your Brain on Diving, the author Klaus Stiefel introduces us to the new insights into the function of the human brain underwater. The author is a neurobiologist, mainly focused on evolutionary biology and fish ecology, but he is also an expert tech and rebreather diver. In both his work and passion, he has written books and articles. What we should have probably understood with a more careful look at the cover is that the book does not strictly refer to scuba diving. The scuba diver without regulator in his mouth should have probably alerted us. Indeed, the three main topics touched upon in the book are inert gas narcosis, apnea or free diving, and the relationship between breath and fears. The good news is that even if we are not too much into science or medicine, what we know about these topics is probably correct. Narcosis is the consequence of a faulty signal transmission caused by too high pressure. We can extend our free diving abilities, overriding our instinct to breathe, at least up to a certain point. There is a correlation between fear and the rhythm and depth of breath.
Of course, the author's specific knowledge adds specific information and considerations that make the reading more interesting and worthwhile of our simplification. But most of us can anyway proudly say, I know about diving as a scientist does, more or less. However, the author himself acknowledges that even scientists don't have a 100% understanding of these complex processes. Discovering new features of our brain, nervous system, and more generally of ourselves is a challenging and time-consuming process. And many discoveries are waiting to be made, in addition to what has already been learned. The book, as explained by the author, is the result of an extract from a previous scientific work, with the addition of some storytelling. We cannot add anything to the author's expertise, and we do not want to spoil too much of the book.
But would we recommend this book? The book is enough easy to be understood by any diver. Of course, there are some specific technical terms of the author's field of expertise that are necessary to explore this topic, but they contribute to make the book an interesting source without overcomplicate things. But we are always looking for something workable, and even this time, we were hoping to find practical insights to apply to our dives. Unfortunately, we did not find any, not even in the fears and breathing chapter. The book offers a lot of interesting theory, with many unknown details to most of us, but lacks practical applications for our dives. This because, firstly, the book purpose it is not this, and secondly, because probably there is not yet something practical that we can derive from these studies. So we would recommend this book for a quick and interesting read, but not for the purpose of overcoming stress, fear, or technical limitations. We think it is not a milestone even for divers who have no problems with stress, fear, or technical limitations. Divers that are simply looking for advice to push their skills to a higher level will not find much help in this book.
Please find in the description a link to download a written takeaway of this video, as well as the references of the book and the author. Thank you for watching. Remember that by clicking on the bell and by subscribing, you will be informed about new videos, while by sharing and giving a like to this video, you will help to spread greater awareness among divers.